What's up, cooks? Welcome to the Cookbook Club. Today we're going to announce the cookbook for April 2025. We've been cooking from the Fannie Farmer Marion Cunningham series of books for the last 2 months, and it's time to move on to our next cookbook. And the cookbook I've chosen for April is amazing. You're going to love it. You're going to learn a lot about it, and it's going to become a foundation of some of the things we're going to do for baking, right? Welcome to the Amy Learns to Cook kitchen. So I didn't quite give it away, but I gave away the subject, right? So we are bidding temporarily farewell to Fannie Farmer and Marion Cunningham. So what I usually like to do is I like to talk about the book as we went through it, what I learned, and do I think it's a great book for someone to include in their library. So let's start. We've gone through the history of this book a bunch of times. I have the original version of the Fannie Farmer. I have the first version from the 70s that Marion Cunningham did, revised after Fannie passed away, because to be honest with you, between this book and this book, the book got jacked up over, sort of like they did with Joy of Cooking, right? It got all messed up. And nobody really wanted to do the complete revision because it had become dull, right? But James Beard suggested that his assistant Marion Cunningham take this project over, and she ran with it. So you will find the original book out there. You'll find a bunch of different editions. I think this is like up to the 14th edition. And then she revised it again for the 100th anniversary of the book. So some of the recipes that we cooked in this book is we started out with the angel food cake. I had never in my life made an angel food cake. We topped it with macerated strawberries, and it was absolutely fantastic. So it was a fantastic way to kick off our Fannie Marion experience, right? We also did that unbelievably fabulous chocolate cake with a creamy chocolate frosting on the top. That thing was amazing. We tried a savory dish. We did the vegetable paella. Even though it's not a traditional paella, it was a great dish. So it would be great for a weeknight if you're not going to go out and take your paella over an open fire. It was very tasty. There's the paella experts will say that's not a paella, right? But it was so good. It's a great dish on its own. We did the blueberry pie. The blueberry pie, I learned so much from that process. So even though the pie wasn't 100% a success because of the runny center, I'm telling you, I learned a lot. You learned a lot from your failures. So that recipe was not a failure to me. I learned how I prefer a little bit of butter in my my pastry, but I also think that I was surprised with her process because she didn't like put it in the refrigerator and chill it. She only does that after she rolls it out and puts it in the pie pan. It was an interesting experience, and the crust was really flaky, right, Boo? Some things that I'm going to work on I think this is the case with any kind of berries. It was runny. So I got some things like some tapioca starch that I'm going to work on that recipe, and I'm going to Amyfy it, right? But it was good. It was amazing. So should you add the Marion Cunningham book in your cookbook library? I say absolutely, 100%. You probably already know my thoughts on this. 100% yes. This book is a winner. It's a classic. It's a foundational cookbook that you can get started from. Yeah, so it has great recipes. It'll get you started, and it's great even for the intermediate cook because there's a lot of techniques that you can learn from and then develop and make it your own. It's a great starting point. I would say this book is a 100% buy in my book, right? It has a permanent place in the Amy Learns to Cook cookbook library, and I will be returning to it. Most definitely. So the question is, as we wave temporary goodbye to Fannie and Marion, who are we bringing in for April? Well, let me tell you. So I thought long and hard for the cookbook for April, and I wanted something that covered this certain area that I'm really kind of getting interested in. Well, I've been interested in it, but I want to do a lot of more learning. And the author of this cookbook I discovered years ago. I happened to be walking around a Barnes & Noble bookstore, and I pulled this, of course I was in the cooking section, and I pulled this book out, and I don't know, it was this little old thing, like a paperback, kind of the common paperback, mass market paperback size. And I pulled this book out, and I don't know what attracted me to it. I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't know anything about the author, but I bought it, right? And I brought it home, and I learned a very important technique from this book. And you heard me talk about this years before, and I've been using it for years and years. It's the slow rise method of bread in the refrigerator, right? So on your first rise, your bulk fermentation, when you're making bread, you might hear that first rise called the bulk fermentation. And that just means that you're fermenting the bread, the first rise, with the entire batch together and not broken apart and, proof for baking as a formed loaf of bread or whatever you're making, right? You're doing a bulk fermentation. You're doing the first rise with the entire batch together, and you're fermenting it, right? Either you're doing a quick, hour rise, or you're doing a slow fermentation, or you're letting it go for a couple days, right? That's what that first rise is called. So I learned that technique from the author of this book, and it changed the way I make bread. Because so many times I just make the dough, I throw it in the fridge, I let it go overnight, and I take it out, let the chill come off of it, I shape it, I let it rise again, and I bake it. And one of the reasons you do that is the longer you let it proof, the longer you let it ferment, it develops the gluten and it creates flavor, right? You can take that to the extreme where you're fermenting some dough per se as a starter, right? You ferment it for long periods of time and it develops a ton of flavor, right? Well, if you don't want sourdough, but you want to build some flavor, you can put it in and let it ferment for some shorter amount of time, a day, 2 days in the refrigerator, and it starts building that type of flavor. You're not going to get sourdough out of it, but you're building flavor in it. I learned that from him. And I have taken that technique with me all through my bread baking career, right? Home bread baking career or journey. And so I wanted to go to a book that would be a foundational book for someone who wants to learn to make bread. And so the first person I thought to turn to was Peter Reinhardt, because he taught me the slow rise method. He changed the way I make bread, and I want to do a lot more learning from him. He is an amazing baker educator. He is a longtime professor chef at Johnson & Wales University. He teaches other places. He has written many books. He has a bakery in Santa Rosa, California, called the Brother Juniper's Bakery. That book is named after that bakery. And he has written a number of books that have been nominated or won James Beard Awards. And so when I was looking at his writing, I wanted to go to that book that would start us off great. in our bread making. And I chose one. I chose his book that is the James Beard award-winning book. It was designated Cookbook of the Year for like the world, right? And it is a classic, and we're going to learn a lot from this book. So the cookbook for April 2025 is The Bread Baker's Apprentice by Peter Reinhardt. Yay! Get ready, cooks. Get ready, bakers. We have a lot to learning in this book. This is the 15th anniversary edition. It is hot off the presses. This is a brand new copy. I have a copy of this, an older edition. This is A Bread Baker's Apprentice, Mastering the Art of Extraordinary Bread. This is our cookbook for April. So we have a whole host of great things ahead of us. This book, if you review it, if you read it, it's going to have a great introduction to bread making, right? You're going to learn all the basics. What is it about bread? My first suggestion is going through this first part as you start exploring this book and read through it. It talks about deconstructing bread. What is the wheat? How it's broke down, types of flours. You're going to go through equipment that you need. You're going to go through baker's percentages. People don't like that, right? I love it though. And you're going to start with some basic recipes to get you going. It's going to talk about fermentation, different types of fermentation, shaping, everything you need to know to get your baking going. We're going through the steps of baking bread, and then we start with the recipes. I suggest you go through the first part of this book and start your learning, and then dive into the recipes. And that's what we're going to do. So April 2025's Cookbook Club is A Bread Baker's Apprentice by Peter Reinhardt. Stay with me for this journey. We're going to have a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me.
Goodbye. It's nice knowing you, Fannie and Marianne. But you're out of here. You've been fired.
No, temporarily.
Oh, temporarily. Wah, wah. We got a new one. So, guess what? Bye, Fannie and Marianne. Nice knowing you.
Get out of here.